The other issue, or the other question I guess I have with infrastructure is we know, I don't have the data offhand from Strata, but we know from Strata, for example, that there is all these students who want internships. There's only a small proportion of them who actually get them. Some of that is because they can't find them. Some of it is because they can't afford them. They have to work in other jobs and things like that. But I'm wondering if suddenly, say, 500 more colleges, let's just put a number on it, said, okay, we're now going to require intern or co-ops for all of our students. Is there enough capacity? We know that, entry level jobs are disappearing. We know internships are disappearing on their own. Like, do employers, let's take it from the other side, because I think here we're saying, well, colleges need to do this. Do you think employers have the capacity to ingest all these students?
No, I don't. I think there's a huge supply demand imbalance. I think you're exactly right. And Ryan Craig, our friend, often says, don't call them employers. Yes, they employ people, but they're companies, right? And frankly, if we're being honest, and they could accomplish their goals with fewer people, they would, because their identity is not employers, which is how we talk about them in this higher ed sector, which I get why we do it. And where it's not useful is your point, right? Like this demand for people in co-ops or internships or whatever is not infinitely elastic. There's a limit to it, and there is a zero-sum nature to it. I think that's clearly part of it. You look at a place like Champlain College that I mentioned in Vermont that has moved to a co-op model. I think what's going to maybe work about that is that they're doing it in very specific areas, I think around cybersecurity and gaming, where the supply demand, right, relative to other schools works in their favor. And so they can carve out their niche. And I think this gets to the other piece that you were talking about is what's the niche if you're going into, say, humanities, like you're an English major, there's not an obvious one-to-one connection with industry that comes out of that. I do think, that said, right, if you think of English, we were talking with at the episode we did at Adobe, right, about how we have to rethink a lot of these liberal arts or humanities majors in an age of AI anyway, that we all believe that actually the skills of an English major, how you communicate, how you use rhetoric, how you pull apart arguments and so forth, and being able to read across lots of different kinds of texts and contexts actually has real value. But teaching it just as, hey, let's read Shakespeare now, let's read Chaucer and et cetera, probably has some limits. Like you actually have to put that skill into real projects in marketing or comms or, places like that, I could imagine, Jeff. So I think the possibility exists, but it does, it brings into question, is co-op going to be the right structure to do that? Because I think a lot of companies would say, we'll take one or two, but 25, I don't know if we can do that.